Hi, I'm Marcia Winbeckler, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. For any of the supplies used in the video, you can go to our website, CakeSuppliesPlus.com. While you're there, be sure to also check out some of the amazing cakes that we made over the years, including many life-size cake sculptures. We've gotten in some beautiful new sugar pearl border molds, and they come in 4 different designs. This is the number 2 design. I'm going to insert a photo here that shows all the different molds and the effects that they produce, and then I'll continue with the video and show you how to work with these molds. And also at the end I'm going to show you how to use the number 4 mold, and not just for the design that it's shown for, but how to make your own individual sugar pearls if you want softer sugar pearls for putting on your quilting and so forth on your cakes. Now to show you how to use the mold, what I want is to have rolled a log of a mixture of fondant and gum paste is what I have, or you can take fondant and add Tylose or CMC to it. And you want to make sure that the side that's going down into the mold is nice and smooth like you see here. This is the upside, but the downside is also nice and smooth. But you want to make sure there's no creases or dents in that, because they could show in your pearls. And then I want to kind of flatten this out just a little bit here with my hand, and then I will use a rolling pin. I'm going to cut off the excess on the sides here. Palette knife comes in really handy when doing this. It's not so sharp that it cuts into your mold like a knife will, but it's sharp enough that it will trim things. And so I just want to get this nice and flat on the back. You don't want it really sticking up past the design much. You'll kind of start to see the shape of the design under there. You can kind of follow it with your eyes. And you can trim this up here along the edge. Be careful not to get into the design area. And then once you think you've got it nice and flattened there, what we want to do is take our palette knife, make sure our edge is nice and clean. And I've sprayed a little bit of vegetable oil spray over here on the side, and I want to make sure the edges of my palette knife have some of the spray on there. And then I just want to pull out and away from the mold design. I don't want to use a sawing back and forth motion, because that will pull the fondant and gum paste back and forth, and that will tend to want to stretch the design and misshape it. So keep trimming it all the way around the mold. We'll go back again to clean up the edges, but again, don't use a sawing back and forth method. Kind of make long strokes in one direction. I want to go back and make sure the edges are nice and clean. Again, going in just one direction, not sawing back and forth. After I've got it all finished trimmed, I want to go back and just kind of pull away from the edges just to make sure that I don't have any overlapping outside of the design. And then I'm going to pop it in the freezer for about 10 minutes or so. Okay, now I've taken this out of the freezer, and then I just want to turn it over and start peeling back from one side here. And then I quickly want to take my pump brush that has Super Pearl in it and add some Super Pearl to really give it that pearlescent look. And I wanted to show you with the number 4 sugar pearl border mold a neat little trick you can do too to make individual sugar pearls, so that you're not working with those hard to eat ones if you want to use individual pearls on your cakes for quilting and so forth. But I molded that just like I did on the number 2 that I showed you. But I did want to show you this number 4 and also the number 3 mold. They're interlocking with the start and the stop, so that when you are using them continuously around the cake, where you end one, you can join the next one, and it looks like a seamless design. The number 1 and the number 2 really don't need that, but the number 3 and the number 4, they've been made so that you can really interlock them that way. Okay, so I have this one made and I froze it and I took it out and super pearled it and everything. And then to make individual little sugar pearls on this, while it's not sticky to the touch, but it's still soft and pliable, I'm going to take a decorating tip, a round tip, and this fits about a number 8 or a number 9, and some of them are a little bit smaller than others, so I might have to change tips in between there. But what I want to do is just take the decorating tip and go over the top of the pearl, and I can do several at once and they will kind of build up inside the tip and pop out. And I'm twisting this around so that I get a smooth edge here on them. And I'll take these out. And so this is what they look like after you've cut them out. They're rounded like the pearl on the one side, but they're flat on the back side, and that flatness is actually an advantage for if you're putting them up against a cake, like for quilting or something. And then to apply those, I'd use my little bead or pearl tweezers. They have a little indentation there, and I would grab these with the rounded side up, and then I would place the flat side against the cake where you have a little bit of piping gel or icing there to hold them in place. So, and then to store those, what I would do is I would just gather them all up once I know that they're not sticky anymore, put them in a container, and then a container that has a lid on it, and that will keep them somewhat soft, but not so soft that they get damaged easily, but soft enough that they're not going to be hard to eat. And they will last as long as your fondant or gum paste would typically. So it's a great way to make a bunch of easy to eat pearls that have a nice flat back for attaching.